So welcome to this workshop. For those who don't know me, I am Katerina and we'll spend the next hour exploring our larynx. And we are going to look at where our larynx likes to sit or live when we speak, when we breathe, or when we sing. I don't know, do we have any singers here today? Raise your hand, or speakers. Yeah, okay. Well, I believe that we are all singers, right? But some are car singers, shower singers, and some are performing singers. So we are all singers in my opinion. So before we start, I want you to take a baseline. And baseline is basically, I want you to count from 1 to 10, say the days of the weeks, and notice how your voice feels today. Okay, and on a scale from 1 to 10, notice how easy it is to talk today, when 1 is not easy at all and 10 is very easy. I want you to notice how clear your voice is today, where 1 is not clear at all and 10 is very clear. And I also want you to notice how resonant your voice is. 1 is not resonant at all and 10 is very resonant. Okay, so count from 1 to 10, say the day of the weeks. I am going to put myself on mute and do the same thing. Okay. Okay, you can unmute and tell me what your numbers are.
Missy, you can go first.
This is what my therapist asks me all the time. I'm not good at this. Resonance, I would give it a 5.
Okay, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, maybe 6 for resonance. And I always have to quantify it. I'm a music teacher, so after teaching all day, it feels okay. So maybe 7.
Okay. And then what about ease of production? How easy was your voice?
It wasn't bad, so 6.
Okay, so maybe write the numbers down on remember them and we'll compare them at the end of the session. Okay? What about you, Nancy? What numbers? What are your numbers?
So I forget the ease of it's easy to talk. It doesn't hurt or anything like that. So maybe a 7.
Okay, good.
Resonance, what does that mean? The strength of it?
Strength, how buzzy it is.
I have no problems.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have problems with that. So I guess I'd say a 7, maybe an 8.
Okay. And what about clarity?
Clarity, so I always think it's worse, but other people that hear me say it's fine. So I guess an 8. So this time of day is probably the best for me. It's when I first wake up in the morning where it might be the worst. But anyways, okay. I'm doing fine right now.
Write the numbers down so you don't need to remember them. And we'll talk about the numbers at the end, okay? Excellent. So the first thing I want to do is to use a little bit of manual approach to release tension from the larynx, okay? Have you ever done, Missy and Nancy, have you ever done massage around your neck? Okay, so it's nothing new to you because some people are very sensitive to this area. So do only what feels comfortable for you, okay? And the pressure is very, very light. Okay, so first we are going to find the hyoid bone. The hyoid bone is the first bump when you come from chin down, okay? And it's really hidden in your chin or under your chin, exactly. Okay, so there are a few bumps. Nancy, I see you are looking which bump it is. There are 3 bumps basically. The first one is the hyoid bone. The second one is the thyroid cartilage. And the third one is the cricoid. Okay, so it's the first, or it's the biggest ring from when you move your finger from down up. Okay, so the middle bump is the thyroid cartilage, and the very first bump is the hyoid cartilage. Okay, and the hyoid is a bone, U-shaped bone that is the only bone in our body that is not attached to another bone, but the larynx is suspended from the hyoid bone. And when the hyoid bone sits up, when it's pulled up, the whole larynx moves up, okay? So we want to release a little bit of tension from there. So with your pointer and your thumb, go to the sides of the hyoid bone. Okay, so from the center of the bump, follow the edges and go to the sides. And now just gentle circles like this at the ends of the hyoid bone. Okay, not too much pressure. You don't need to do it too much. If you start feeling that it's hurting, that's too much. So really just gentle circles. Okay. And this is something, this manual approach is something you can do as part of your routine in the morning before you use your voice. You can do it between your appointments. So Missy, if you have students, you can do this between appointments, and you can do it at the end of the day to release some tension from the voice use at the end of the day. Okay, so now we are going to move to the thyroid cartilage. And I have here this homemade model. This is much bigger than what we have in the throat, but we are basically looking for these lamina, these flat surfaces of your thyroid cartilage. Exactly, I can see both of you, you are touching it. So just again, circular motion, very gently, very slowly, don't push too much. It's really moving the structures that are above the cartilage more to the surface. Okay. Now, either with your thumb and your pointer or the rest of your fingers, you can gently move the thyroid cartilage from side to side. And if you bring your chin a little bit more down, it's easier. And if you feel any or hear any clicking, that's okay. Those are cartilages rubbing against each other. Okay, and the last thing we are going to do with the thyroid cartilage is to move it slightly down. Okay, and again, it's very slow movement, gentle pressure. And this exercise can be even done with a sound. And when I make the sound, you will hear that my voice changes because my position of the larynx will change. So, okay. So this is something, if this is something very new, I would recommend only a few minutes for this type of massage. If it's something that you've been doing on a regular basis, you can make it longer, whatever feels comfortable, okay? The other thing of the manual approaches, I want to stretch myofascia from this area, okay? So I want you to put your hand on your sternum, on your breastbone, and the other hand comes on top. We are going now to move the head back, but not too much, okay? I don't want you to constrict anything here at the back. But first we'll do it with an open mouth, and then we'll close the mouth for 2 seconds for the count of 2. And you should feel a nice stretch as you are closing your mouth. So it will look like this. 1, 2, and I'm feeling a nice stretch here. Okay, and again, open mouth, close, 1, 2. And this hand here, or these 2 hands, pull everything slightly down. So there is that nice stretch of all the structures on the front of the neck. And one more time with your open mouth. Close, 1, 2, and come back. Excellent. And now we are going to do the same thing on the side. So your thumb is on your clavicle, okay? The other hand is just gently pulling down, and we are going on a diagonal. So again, with mouth open, and then close. And you should feel a nice stretch more to the side of the neck. And come back. And 2 more times with your mouth open. Close, 1, 2, come back. And again with your mouth open. Close, 1, 2, and release. We are going to the other side. So your thumb is on your clavicle. The other hand is just pulling gently down on a diagonal with your mouth open. Close, 1, 2, and feel a nice stretch on the side of your neck. Excellent. And 2 more times. Close, 1, 2, and release. And 1 more time. Close, 1, 2, and release. Does it feel good? One more thing that we are going to do, there is a very big but very thin layer of muscle called platysma here, and we are just going to pull it away from the other structures. So you want to really just pinch the very superficial layer, and it feels like you are only pushing your skin, but you are, believe me, pulling also platysma. So a very, very thin muscle that attaches to the skin, and it may attach to the structures underneath, and we want to pull platysma away. And if you want, you can even do it underneath your chin, because there's platysma too. And release tension like this. Okay, how does it feel, Nancy? I see you are stroking your neck. So now I want you to, again, take a baseline. So just count or say the days of the weeks, and let's see if anything changed, okay? My voice is already feeling a little bit lighter, so the ease of production for me is lighter.
Absolutely. I feel a big difference.
Good, very good. What about you, Missy? Any changes?
Yeah, definitely the sound is much clearer, and the ease of production.
Very good. Okay, excellent. So this is something you can make it as long or as short as you want and include it in your daily routine. or as I said, in between appointments or after lunch break, before going to another meeting, or in the evening as you are watching TV, you can do this and release some tension, reset the position of the larynx. Yes, Missy.
Question. Is there, I mean, not going crazy doing it, but could you do this several times through the day?
Yes, you have to be very in tune with your body.
Sure.
When I do this, so I was, going over this workshop today twice. I was just sort of thinking what I should be talking about, and I've done it twice already on myself. I don't think I would be doing it 3 times a day personally for myself, even though I was feeling now ease of production again. But I just feel that the muscles are, warm, and I'll see how I will feel tomorrow. If
Okay.
if you go to the gym and you work too hard, you have a little bit of discomfort in muscles the next day. So that also will tell you whether you overdid it or not.
Okay.
So I would start with 1 time a day and then add, or maybe I would start with 2 minutes and then add another 2 minutes another day, another time of the day.
Yeah, I'm asking because I feel like in teaching now, so I teach elementary school music. So, and I have I've had surgeries and stuff. So there's just a lot of issues, but I'm finding that sometimes in between, I'm doing this like just gentle thing, and that hurts. But I mean, I do it a few times a day, but nothing so rigorous as this.
Mm-hmm.
Not like
Yeah.
not a whole workout, but just kind of, it's almost a mental reminder to me also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
So maybe try to play with different components of it and find
right.
which one has the best benefit for you.
Okay.
Okay. Excellent. Yes.
May I
Nancy.
ask a question?
Absolutely.
So I like to use essential oils when I'm stretching and things. I have multiple sclerosis, and so my joints always hurt. So I was in voice therapy recently. I couldn't talk. I had laryngitis, and they thought it was bamboo nodules, but it's not. So a lot of times when I massage my jawbone, I use like different oils. Is there something I should stay away from, like peppermint?
Yes, I wouldn't use it here because there are some major muscles. I don't know how deep the
Yeah.
essential oils would go.
Okay.
So definitely I recommend massaging around your larynx just with your bare hands with no oils or any other solutions.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let's go and find the mid position of your larynx. Okay, so the best way to find mid position is to put your hand on your larynx to feel the movement. And now just swallow and notice where your larynx lands. So where the thyroid notch or the Adam's apple, so the second bump, where does it land? So play around with it and see where it lands. And now just breathe normally. And I'm just pointing to where my larynx lands. Okay. And this should be your mid position. Okay. And now I want you to try something. So this is the middle position. And now just start talking. Maybe you can count or say the days of the week and notice what happens to the larynx. And my question is, does it stay in the mid position? Does it move up or does it move down when you talk?
Mine feels like it vibrates. So it doesn't actually, now that I'm talking, it's going up. But when I was just like counting, it would just vibrate. But I guess it might be going up.
because that's exactly, so the thyroid cartilage or the Adam's apple or Eve's apple that you are feeling as the second bump is this part of the larynx. And your vocal cords, which are these little bands, I don't know if you can see them here, sit right behind the bump, okay? So when you are talking, when you are using voiced sounds, you are feeling the vibrations, okay? So that's great. Now, can you figure out what's happening with your larynx when you are talking? Is it staying in the mid position or is it going up? Okay, so for Nancy, it's up. For Missy?
When I'm talking in a controlled way, it's staying in the same position, but in every other instance, it's tightening and moving up.
Okay, so just so you know that there are only a very few people who actually speak in their mid position. It's usually slightly higher or slightly lower, and this depends on many different factors. So it depends on your dialect, it depends on your mother language, it depends on cultural influences. In some countries, it's even the social class where you belong, or even educational level. And it also will depend on who you are talking to. So when you are talking to a small child, for example, oh, you are so cute, your larynx will move up. And when you are talking to a policeman, no, I didn't speed, your larynx will go down. So the larynx is moving. It's not supposed to stay in one position. And for most people, 95%, it will not stand in the mid position. Okay, so if it's not staying in the mid position, nothing wrong with that. Okay, and now when I will show you what my speech would look like in mid position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can hear that it's a little bit lower, right? Than when I'm talking like you normally. So my position for my speaking voice is around 6, 6.5. Okay. So what is your number? If this is the lowest position, or if the middle is 5, where do you usually speak? What number would you give it?
So when you say 6.5, you mean up a little bit for yourself?
Yes. Yeah. So here is 1, here is 10, middle is 5. For me, it goes slightly up, so 6 or 6.5. Where do you think you are speaking?
I think I might be speaking at a 7.
Okay, good. And Missy?
Probably at a 4.
Wow.
Your goes down?
I mean, if I'm thinking about like if I'm doing my podcast, then if it's tied to pitch at all, then yeah,
Yes.
it's going down.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So see, we have 3 different people here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as I said, it will depend on the conversational partner or the conversational situation. So when I talk on the phone, I go even higher because I guess, I don't know why, but I learned, hi, this is Katrina Hornakova, and you can already hear that my voice sounds a little bit younger, which means that my larynx is going up, okay? But when I'm, let's say, doing YouTube videos, my larynx is a little bit more down. Probably I want to assume more authority. I don't know. Okay, so it really depends. That's a very good point, Missy, that when you are doing your podcast, maybe your voice or even pitch goes a little bit lower. Very good. And nothing wrong with that. Okay, so now I want you to try to talk in the mid position. So can you again swallow, find the mid position and speak in the mid position. So try to control it and have it in the mid position at number 5. What does it feel like? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Does it sound like you?
So I think it's the way I'm supposed to talk. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, so I have a very strong Boston accent. And about a year and a half ago, I was losing my voice and I went through a lot of speech therapy. And what I realized is I've never paid attention to how I speak. And I think a lot of people get rid of their Boston accent by paying attention to how they are speaking. So when I do this exercise, I think that's the way I'm supposed to be doing. Like you're supposed to think about it as opposed to the way I usually talk. I don't really pay attention to it. I just speak and the Boston accent comes out. So it's very interesting because it doesn't feel normal, but it feels right.
Yeah, so it will not feel normal if it's not what you are used to because it's something new.
Yes.
But you are raising a good question. What is your real voice, right? So from my perspective as a healthcare professional or speech language pathologist, any position is good as long as it doesn't invite constriction or strain, okay? So if you want to use your voice at 5 and it doesn't tire your muscles more than 6 or 7, it's fine. If 6 or 7 is more comfortable and invites more ease and resonance, then go for that. Okay. What about you, Missy? How easy or difficult was it to talk at the mid?
It's just like it's very controlled, which is not natural for me.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt and it's not difficult other than I just have to focus
Yes.
on
Yeah.
only my voice.
And how would you call that voice? Because it's probably different voice than you are used to. What would you call that kind of voice?
I would call that my speech therapy voice.
Okay, that's a good name. I like that. Okay, so now let's go and explore the high and low of the larynx. Okay, so I want you to put your hand again on your larynx and swallow and notice what happens. And now I want you to yawn without opening your mouth. So imagine that you are in a presentation and it's really boring and you want to yawn and you want to suppress it. You don't want to show the presenter how boring she or he is. So notice what happened to your larynx. Okay. Now I want you to go back to swallow and try to maintain that high larynx. So when we swallow, the larynx goes up and then comes down to the mid position. Can you keep your larynx at the high end, at the top of your swallow? And now let's try.
I don't think I know how to do that.
Okay,
I can try.
but okay, so let's first discuss what happens when you swallow. Can you feel how it's moving up?
For me, I didn't feel it moving up so much as it's like a bullfrog. There's something, I don't know if it's my tongue or something hard coming bubbles out here for a second.
Okay, so can you?
Not when I swallow, I'm sorry. When I did the yawn thing.
Okay, so let's first talk about the swallow. Can you feel it going up?
Yes, but I don't know how to keep it there.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then now, when you yawn, can you keep it at the bottom of the yawn?
I can, but it takes lots of effort.
Yeah, if it's something new, it's like learning to drive. When you are learning to drive, it takes a lot of effort. Okay, so let's try a few other prompts to get you high and to get you low, okay? So think that you are going to squeal. You actually don't need to squeal. You just think about it and feel your larynx.
Yeah.
It goes up and it stays there. So once you think about squealing, you can also think about a Missy high note. You are going to sing a high note. You actually don't need to sing it. Just think about it and your larynx will position up.
I think there's something this must be one of my incorrect things because it's more bulging out. But I'm sure it's going up. I just can't feel it well.
Okay.
You see, I feel the same way. I don't feel it going up unless I make a noise. So, and you probably know a lot more about your throat than I do.
Okay, so why don't you make a tiny little mouse sound? Like, can you feel it going up? Yeah, so sometimes it's easier to start with a sound. Okay, so if that's what brings you to be able to control the height of the larynx, start with the sound. And that's a very good point, Nancy. Very often, or the pitch and the height of larynx are interconnected. So when we speak or sing in our higher range, the larynx will move up. When we speak or sing in the lower range, the larynx will go down. So that can help us to find control over the muscles that move the larynx up and down. Okay, so think about singing a high note or squealing, or imagine that you are a young child and you want to talk like a young child, or you want to talk to a young child. Your larynx will go up. And that's how you learn how to control the larynx going up.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Are these like the movement up? Is it very small?
Yes,
Because
yes.
maybe in my mind, I'm waiting for it to like go really high.
Go really
Right.
through
Like,
your, yes.
like a
Okay,
newborn.
so let me show you. And I am already trained, so I can move it higher than I was able to do it 2-3 years ago. Okay, so you won't see it going very high because the bump sort of hides inside my neck, but now it goes down. And now, do you see how it's going down? So it's about this much. Okay, and if you never tried to control your larynx in isolation, it will take some time to create this space. Okay, so maybe right now you can move it only from here to here, but as you try more and more and the muscles get used to working, you can develop more range.
So are you saying it's moving from here to here? Or
No,
you're saying this
not
is
there.
okay. I
It's
don't know if
about
you're saying it's moving from here to here or it's just moving a little bit.
Do you see how it's moving now?
Yes. Okay. I think I need practice.
Yeah, and you know what? It took me many years to be able to do this. Okay, so for the lower larynx, we can try sob. Okay, sobbing is a sound that brings the larynx really down, and a sob is a wonderful sound for releasing tension from your larynx too. So as you can see, my larynx is really, really down. How is sobbing working for you, ladies?
Yeah, definitely. I can feel it going down.
Okay, so maybe that's a good prompt for you, Nancy.
But why do I want to do that? Sorry.
Okay. Very good question.
Sorry.
Absolutely. So, exactly. Why do we care about moving our larynx? From vocal health perspective, if your larynx is stuck in one position, that is a problem. We want to have a nice movement of the larynx. When we speak and also when we sing, the larynx wants to move up and down based on the pitch. When it's stuck in one position, it invites strain and constriction and other muscles that have to hold it in that place. And that can then transfer to the little muscles inside the larynx that produce sound. And that's when trouble can come in. So good laryngeal movement can add to voice longevity. That was an excellent question, and that's why we are doing this. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem. Like that's the main reason why we are here, right?
Yeah. I thought me practicing talking like that, like I'm never going to talk like that. So that's why the question came up. But thank you. That was a great explanation.
Yeah. The different positions of the larynx in a practical world would be good for actors, for singers, for voiceover actors, for character work. Let's say, if you are reading to your kids, sometimes you can use a voice like this for a character, right? And sometimes you are Cinderella's mouse and you want to be like this, right? You don't need to, right? But voiceover actors and singers, they need to be able to move their larynx up and down according to pitch. For example, in My Fair Lady, Eliza Doolittle, she starts with very high larynx, and as she learns proper English, she lowers the larynx, and then she speaks and sings with a much lower position of the larynx. So that's for the people who would sing in roles like that. Okay, so I showed you the first three manual exercises how to release tension. In many people who have voice problems, the larynx is stuck in a high position, right? So sobbing or sob is a very good sound to bring the larynx down. And I don't expect anyone to talk like this. It's just an exercise to release the tension and to bring the larynx down and experience how it feels, or give the larynx the option to live in a little bit lower position. And then when you let go of that exercise, or when you finish, the position of the larynx will adjust, so it won't be as high. Okay, so can we try another exercise? I would like you to try to speak or just say a sound in these three different positions. So we tried mid position. I want you to try to go into the highest position you can with the larynx and either say something or say the sound E, and then again to go to the lowest position you can and either say something or say E. So it would, with E, it would sound like this: mid position, E, high position, E, low position, E. Talking in mid position would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Talking in high position would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Talking in low position, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is a great exercise, again, to practice the movement of the larynx. Okay, so try it, and then we can answer questions, how it feels, what it does to you, what's easier. Questions on this one, how does it feel?
Feels good.
Yeah, can you do all 3 positions?
Yeah.
Yeah, which one is the hardest one for you?
Hardest?
Yes.
I think going low is hard. I think
Okay.
going high is easier.
I can even now hear it now. You went high as you were talking about it. Okay. Can you show me your low? How low can you go? How low can you?
I can speak very low sometimes, but it just doesn't feel right.
Okay. Can you give it a little bit more sob, sadness? You are very.
Yes. Oh, I just didn't want to go that low. But it's more like sobby. I feel like I'm singing. I'm not a singer. But yeah, the low feels weird. The high feels more normal.
Yeah, so maybe that's because you live in a more higher position. So the lower position is new to you. So it feels weird, but it's not unhealthy. Okay. Of course, I don't want you to do it all day long. That wouldn't be right. But as an exercise to just counteract the high position that you like to live in with a little bit of sobbing. And when you sob, try to make it really sad because then your throat opens up even more. Okay? So it's not just moving the larynx down, it's also opening the throat. Okay? What about you, Missy?
Actually, the neutral position feels the most floaty, like,
Okay.
or the most kind of give in my larynx. Lower is not hard and higher is harder.
Okay.
Opposite.
And isn't that interesting? Because you just said at the beginning that your voice likes to live a little bit lower, right? So that's what familiar for you, and going up is something new.
Yes.
So I have the perfect pair of people here, examples of what's possible, right? So, but I would encourage you both to explore the other side of the position, because you really want to be able to move it up and down when you speak, to have the freedom there. You don't want any muscles to take over and have the muscles be stuck, or the larynx be stuck in one position. Okay. One more exercise that I would like to do with you that is wonderful for laryngeal movement is the NG sound. And Missy, you will know this one. So when you say sing, it's the last sound in the word sing. Okay. And I want you to just slide up and down in your range. Nancy, I know you said you are not a singer, but you can still do a small siren. So sing. And put your hand on your larynx and see if it's moving with the pitch. So try it a few times and tell me what you notice.
When I have my mouth shut, I don't feel it going up and down, but when I have my mouth open, I can feel it going up and down.
Okay, can you say the word sing and stay on the last sound? Sing.
Am I closing my mouth open? My mouth
No,
open?
just say the word sing. Sing.
Sing.
That's
Sing.
and on the ng sound. That's it. Okay, because when you did the previous sound, you had a lot of mass in your vocal folds, and we really want just small mass in your vocal folds, which ng gives you. Sing.
Good.
So a small sound, and the position of ng in your tongue, the tongue becomes high. So when you do ah, usually your tongue is flat and low. With the ng, the tongue tip is behind your teeth, so sing, but the dorsum or the back of the tongue is up, which means that the larynx has a place to move up and down. If the tongue is down for low vowels, the larynx cannot move as high. Okay, so really I would encourage you to say sing, just the word sing, stay on the last sound, sing, and then go and do siren, sing. And now you may feel more movement. Sing. You see movement up and down. Okay, Missy, what about you? Do you feel the movement?
Yeah, that's actually maybe the only, like I can feel like if this was my finger, I can feel this like rolling of my larynx. So that's the most motion I felt.
Okay, very good. So maybe this is the exercise that you want to do on a regular basis.
Okay.
Hi, Judy. You are coming 1 hour too late. Can you hear us? Judy, can you?
Now I can hear you. My headphones weren't on.
Okay, Judy, unfortunately, you are joining us 1 hour too late. We are about to finish.
Oh, I had it for 6 o'clock my time.
6 o'clock EST. But you know what? Don't worry, because the recording will be available to you.
Okay.
You know what?
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
I sent everyone a couple of emails, but
yeah, I got one, but it said we're starting soon, but I got it just a few minutes ago, so I thought I was right.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay, Judy. Okay, so questions. Ask me questions now.
I'm actually good.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Nancy, your questions? You're on mute.
Sorry, my sister just called. I was like, I have to get off the phone.
Okay.
I don't have any questions, but those were excellent exercises. I've been in voice therapy for about 10 months now, and I wish I had learned that from the first time.
Well, hopefully you will find some benefits in these exercises. So
absolutely.
The last thing I want you to do is take another baseline. Okay, so go on mute and count from 1 to 10, say the days of the weeks, and then look at your numbers again. Okay. Judy, I will just explain that we started this session by taking a baseline. So I asked the ladies to count from 1 to 10 and say the days of the weeks, and then notice the ease of sound production, resonance in their voice, and what was the last thing? Resonance and clarity in their voice, and rate their voice on a scale from 1 to 10. Okay. So we did that at the beginning of the session, and now at the end of the session, I would like to know from Nancy and Missy, you don't need to give me numbers, but was there a change in any of these?
Absolutely.
Okay, and we are not going for changes of 5 numbers. If it's half a number or a one number, then it's good. Okay. So which of these three scales, ease of production, resonance, or clarity, was the biggest difference for you?
Clarity for me.
I feel like there was an improvement in all three. I mean, I didn't have a wicked lot of improvement, but you know, I felt better, stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. So even power. If you look at baseline, you can look at power, how powerful your voice feels. Very good. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, I will ask you, what was your biggest insight from today?
How easy it is to massage and make your muscles better.
Okay.
You made it really easy. Thank you so much. You're a great teacher.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much, Nancy. What about you, Missy?
I didn't know about this thing, the not the
platysma.
Yes.
Platysma, yes.
That's very interesting to me. And then I think thinking about the mobility of the larynx, I tend to think of it as either tense or not tense. And so I like the idea of getting some flexibility, which will help kind of break the pattern of tension.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was something, it's good to be with another speech therapist, you know. I mean, like for different insights, like being with a different voice teacher. So
absolutely. Well, I think that's a very good insight you had, that instead of focusing on where I feel the tension, is what can I do with my voice? How can I change it? And how a different position feels.
yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you very much for coming. Okay.